Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going back to CodeSignal, work on the Python coding exercises. If you're joining this in the middle of the playlist and you want to start from the beginning, you can see in the link below there's a link in the description. If you click that, you can start from the first video if you wish. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go to the arcade. I'm going to Python here. So we were in this section, Lambda Illusions, on the last one. Is test solvable. So we got to implement the code in the missing ellipses here. You've been preparing all night for the upcoming test and entered the class certain that you will ace it. Now that you've received the test questions, you died inside a little. Looks like you prepared for the test on a completely different topic. You're not sure if you should bother to answer the questions. You still have some hope though. It is known that there's a glitch in the test preparing system, so that if the sum of the digits of question IDs is divisible by k, the answer to each question has a 90% probability to be an A. Given the list of question IDs, determine if the sum of their digits is divisible by k to see if it's worth trying to pass the test. Alright, so they're going to give you a list of some IDs and then a k value, an integer value. And then they want you to calculate whether the sum of all the digits in these different numbers of the list are divisible by the integer k. And if it is, then you return true, otherwise false. Alright, so let's look at the code that they have here. So they're initializing a variable sm and they're making it equal to 0, and then they're running through the IDs in the IDs list, so going through this and then this, etc., with a for loop, and they're using this digit sum function that we're going to define to get the sum of the digits in that question ID. So they're looking for the sum of this, so like down here you got 5 plus 2 plus 9 plus 6 plus 6 plus 5. That's what this digit sum should do. And then they're just adding that to the sm variable, and then they're checking whether that sm variable is evenly divisible by the integer k. This modulus says what is the remainder when you divide this by this number. If it's 0, that means it divides evenly. So then it is divisible by that number. Alright, so we have to come up with a function that will sum up these digits. So we're going to do lambda again. And then with lambda, you put what the variable or variables names you want to do after that, and then you put colon and you give what your function will do. So we're going to sum up, and then for this function we're going to do int. I'm going to use x because I'm going to do for x in IDs, or actually I'm going to say in ID, yes. And we're going to actually convert this to a string. So what's going to happen is it's going to convert this integer into a string so that I can loop through each one of the numbers individually, and then I'm going to use the int function to turn those back into an integer. So it's going to come out 5, 2, 9, 6, 6, 5, and then I'm going to take up the sum of those individual integers. Hopefully I've written that correctly, so when I run the test you can see yes, that works. So I hope you guys were able to follow along with that. And actually, let's just write this function out how it would look normally. So some of you might be confused on the lambda function. So you could also write this as a sum digit, and then you put ID here in the arguments, and then you would indent that like this, and then you do for x in st, so stringing the ID, and then you could just do You could initialize a variable, let's say sum of ID equals 0, and then you could do sum of ID plus equals x, int x. So this would give you the same thing as this lambda function here, if that's how you prefer to write your functions. In this case, I had to write it in one line because they need to do it in the ellipsis that's provided, but there's other ways that you could define this function as well. All right, thank you very much. Hope to see you in future videos. Bye.